Free agency is officially underway, so let's get to the biggest question for the Cubs. Is Kyle Tucker coming back?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. This whole show is going to be about Kyle Tucker. Later this week, we'll get into what the Cubs can learn from just an epic World Series. Also, award season starts this week. Free agency begins this week. So we have to begin with the Cubs' biggest free agent, who in 136 games, Kyle Tucker slashed 266, 377, 464 with 22 home runs, 25 doubles, 25 stolen bases. Cubs made one of the biggest moves in all of baseball last offseason when they acquired him from the Astros way back on December 13th. Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, and prospect Cam Smith. And Tucker had a turbulent season of sorts with the Cubs, but he was also a major reason for their success. And Tucker is now officially a free agent as we get closer, really, to a reality we wondered about on the day the trade was made, that Tucker might only be with the Cubs for 1 year. Sam, it's time to reflect a little more on him and really figure out whether or not they want to, but also if they even should bring him back.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's just been a crazy weekend here. I'm still coming down from the Bear game and
from a cold. A Bear game. I thought.
Yeah, no cold. World Series, all these things. Now we go into Tucker, who
good segue.
Yeah, who I think that's a great place to start. Are the Cubs going to want him back bad enough to compete with the other teams that do want him? Because one thing that I've realized these last couple of years in the offseason is if there is a team where, let's say it says Team X is all in on player Y, the Cubs are out, right? The Cubs are out.
Yeah, they're not going to be competing with that team.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter what player it is if we're talking about a high-level player. They didn't even meet with Juan Soto. Did they ever get a Yamamoto meeting?
Not that I remember.
Yeah. If there, so like, for example, if the Dodgers decide, hey, we really shouldn't have won that World Series, and the big reason why is offensively we weren't potent enough, and they say we want to add Tucker, to your same reason why you want the Cubs to go big. This is the last year before the new rules might kick in, so maybe they overpay for a guy like Tucker. Well, we're out then. So I think the best question is are there going to be any teams that are all in on Kyle Tucker? What does all in look like? Is that 200? Is that 250? I can't see the Cubs paying any more than that for this player, considering the fact that he's been banged up injury-wise. I said on my solo show a couple weeks back, the comp I'd make for Kyle Tucker is Chris Bryant, for the good and for the bad. Now, I don't think that it's going to be as bad as the Bryant deal by any means, but it's one of those two things can be true, Matt. I want the Cubs to spend a ton of money, so I'm not going to let them off the hook if Tucker goes elsewhere. But if they say, hey, we want to spend a ton of money, just not on this player, I think there actually is a fair point on that. I'm not sure you agree with me. And that's okay.
Well, I guess I'll address your first question because there have been reports linking both World Series teams to Tucker already.
Yep.
Plus the Yankees, Red Sox, and Giants. So that's 5 teams right there. The Cubs would make it 6 teams. Depending on what happens with Schwarber, you figure the Phillies get in the mix. So really, to me, I think there's 7 teams that could legitimately bring Tucker in and have them play in 2026 and beyond. But the question that I'm really struggling with right now with all of this is can the Cubs and their offense really repeat what they did without Tucker? Like if he's not here, who steps up? And they were a top 6 offense in baseball. I have accepted not only the ebb and flow of him individually, but of the team, because I just keep going back to this, Sam, because it was a turbulent season for him. It was. He had 2 injuries. He had one in June, a finger injury he suffered, and one in September, a calf injury. But I'm really, really struggling with the fact that the first 97 games,
Yeah, you're right.
Clear MVP candidate in the league. He was named a starter to the All-Star team. And yeah, his last 39 games was poor, especially that 25-game stretch in mid-July to mid-August when he hit 163 with two doubles and all singles. But I'm just really struggling with how they repeat their performance without him. I agree with Jed Hoyer. When the Cubs were at their best in 2025, so was Kyle Tucker.
Absolutely.
Their record was 14-12 without him. So that's what I'm really, really having a hard time with.
But you could let him walk and bring somebody else in. That's an option. Well, what if I were to tell you they let Tucker walk and added their offense? I think if they let Tucker walk and their starting lineup on opening day is they just move Suzuki to right, Ballesteros to DH, yeah, that's probably not going to be a good enough offense long term. I agree with you on that. that. But
although I am starting to warm up to that if you load up on pitching like crazy.
Yeah, I just don't. You watch these playoffs. I mean, you'd have to load up on pitching crazy like Dodger style. You know what I mean? And look at who they still have
hard to do
in their lineup. It's a hard one. I'm not going to be mad. I will not be mad if they bring back Kyle Tucker by any means. I just think, look at the teams that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you really see the Cubs outbidding those teams if those teams want Kyle Tucker? Like, do you really see that?
It's hard to. And so we'll continue to maneuver through this because I do think there's certain prices where they just eliminate themselves, which is
right.
Which is embarrassing. But at this point, I know that that's what their position is. So
but here's the thing. You use the word embarrassing and you're right. But I don't think I think it's embarrassing as a generalization, which is true. But for this specific player, is this the specific player you want to go all in on? I was all on board for a long time. Matt, that second half of the season, I mean, it was really a problem. I mean, it almost went to the point where it got like you felt like you were missing something. So it's a very complicated thing. I think I've just tempered on it because I just don't see it. Unless the market decides we don't like this guy. That's where the Cubs come in, and that's frustrating.
Maybe that's a better word.
Yeah, I just. Again, I'll repeat it for a third time, 9 minutes in. Nobody can make fun of me in the comments because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
I think it's a shame that the Cubs continue to go bargain hunting But I don't think it's a shame if they decide that Kyle Tucker isn't the right fit for them at a $250 million price. Is that?
Oh my gosh, they better.
Yeah.
If that's the price, that would be. I'll move mountains. So
Well,
let's keep this convo going then. Right after this, that's a ridiculous price.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push, folks. Chicago sports right now having a little bit of a moment. The Bulls are 5-0. As I say this, I believe they go to Madison Square Garden, the nation's most famous arena, tonight to play the Knicks. And the Bears just won one of the most exciting, crazy games I've seen in a long time. Don't know if I should be happy or a little bit taken aback by that defensive collapse. I gave out the Titans a plus 10.5. They covered losing by 7. There's just nothing better than FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Shout out to the everydayers. You can become a Locked On Cubs everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week, which is 5 days a week through the winter meetings. And even after that, we're only 3 or 4 days a week for about an 8-week stretch. So we'll be here all off season long. And this is a major topic. You know, when the Astros intel began about a year ago, and it was almost a year to the day where I floated his name on our airwaves.
Yeah, you did.
I just thought, okay, if you acquire this player, which they did, then wouldn't he be the one you would want to invest and go all in on?
Right.
Especially at a time where the economics of the game are a little bit in flux.
Right.
And I'm starting to cool off on the 27 season is, not going to happen. I think it is, even if it's just 60 games or whatever. But
they'll play more.
I guess you need to explain to me why he wouldn't be the guy to invest in. Is it I get it, he hit 163 for 25 games. But Sam, we sat here and we wondered if they put someone of a star caliber in the lineup, what would happen, right? We wondered that for 3 years. 22, we took over, 23, and 24. And I just I'm of the position that we found out what happened if a star caliber player is in the lineup. At least the first 97 games, we found that out. But what do you say to this? Because he did affect the other parts of the lineup, did he not? PCA had a career year. Seiya had a career year. Horner had a career year. Bush had a career year. Kelly had a career year. Happ was Happ. Swanson was Swanson. This is the player they should go to lengths for. And he was down the hallway for a year.
I'm going to read you a couple of statistics. 2025, Kyle Tucker batted .266 with 22 home runs and 73 driven in with an .841 OPS. In 2023, Cody Bellinger hit .307 with 26 homers, 97 RBIs, and an .881 OPS. That year, Cody Bellinger didn't get the big money. The Cubs slid in late and brought him back. I think Kyle Tucker's a better player than Cody Bellinger. I also don't think everything that you said, I fully agree with. Let me make this clear. Where we're off lengths is I'm not sure he projects as a superstar player the rest of the way. Just not. I thought defensively he was bad. If bad, strong, mediocre at best. I don't like the way he's aging. Back-to-back years, really banged up physically. Seemed like that really impacted his play. Again, if the Cubs hand out, so look,
You're saying, hey, do the Cubs want to invest in a player that played in 136 this year and only 70 or so the previous year?
Yeah, and last year, almost half the games, he was bad.
No, it was 39 games.
Okay, all right. The second half of the season.
Let me list his stats through the first 97, if I may.
Yep.
Okay, because half the season, that's an exaggeration.
No, that was the wrong phrase. I meant
281, 385, 504 with an OPS of 889.
Right.
I get it. He was poor the last 39, especially that middle 25. He hit like a pitcher. But what about the first 97? What about the totality of the campaign in which they won 92 games? They reached the playoffs for the first time in several years.
What's the price you'd go up to?
So,
because we might be saying the same thing. Tell Kira I say hello. We might be saying the same. We might be saying.
She says her and Bennett say happy birthday.
Thank you. I just heard a door open. Now, we might be saying the same thing. Where do you say the price is ridiculous? How much per year? Would you give him 35, 30?
I would, yeah.
You'd give him $35 million a year.
I would, yes.
Oh, no.
I would do that for 8 years. That comes out to 8 for 280. I would do that today.
Wait a minute. You just made fun of me when I said $250 million.
Correct, because that's a reasonable price.
Oh, I see.
That's why I did it.
So you go 8 for 280 for Tucker.
Yeah, and I think the Cubs are caught up on the years, Sam. So are they even willing to go 8? Are they willing to go 9? They're not willing to go above that, I don't think.
Let me tell you what I'd offer him. I'm getting my phone for a calculator.
By the way, the Cubs' willingness to sign a player this offseason for more than 5 years, I will admit it does seem low. But I think they need to abandon that thinking.
I'd go 7. I'd be like 7 for 210.
Wow. Yeah, I just don't know if you get this player for that.
I know. I'd rather now, but let me tell you something. I would overpay for a Schwarber.
Even though he's way older than Tucker.
Yeah, you go 4 or 5 years.
And the Cubs need, if they're adding slugs specifically like him, you think a lefty would be the best way? Because I would rather get Suarez at that point.
No.
Because even though Schwarber, the buzz and interest, don't get me wrong, it'd be great for the show.
Kyle Schwarber hits big home runs. You know,
now you're arguing that Schwarber is more clutch than Tucker. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, well, that's not an argument. That's a fact, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, I don't remember how many big, absolute, massive hits. I mean, Tucker, he's won some World Series. What's his?
Well, won some World Series. He's one of the more complete players when he's on, a 4-time All-Star.
Man, I don't like what I saw that second half. It was eye-opening to me, okay? Something was weird about it.
He had not one but 2 injuries.
I want Tucker back. I just don't want him back at the all-in price. I'm not giving him 8 for 280.
What do you care about price? What happened to you?
No, you're right.
Why does price upset you now?
I'll tell you why. Because because if they give him 8 for 280 and he turns out to be a Jason Hayward type contract, we're going to hear for the next 7 years that the Cubs can't spend and the rules are going to change and that contract could be a hamper. Look at the Rockies.
What if he's a star for the first three of the 8 years?
Then I'd write the check right now.
And that's what it would be. Year 7 and 8, he will be Jason Hayward.
But I don't think I don't think he was not a star player for the totality of this year. An 841 OPS, 23 home runs, and 72 RBIs is not a star season. It was a B season. It was a good season. If we're going to give up 200, 250, 300 plus, if we're going to give up 8 for 280, I want a guy that can hit 30, 35 home runs, hit about 280, 290, and his OPS should start with a 9.
So, and that's a fair barometer when you talk about OPS starting with the 9. I won't mince that part of it. So would you go 30 M's for 5 years for Schwarber then? Or would you give him a 6th year and say, hey, if you're that into him, you even give him a 6th year?
I wouldn't give him a 6th year.
Okay. You go 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, I would. How many home runs did Schwarber hit last year? 50 something?
Oh yeah, he hit 50, yeah.
Tucker at 23.
No, he hit 22.
22.
Schwarber at 56.
What are we talking about here?
All right, let's keep this conversation going. I really hope people got this far into the episode.
He almost hit triple the amount of homers this guy hit.
All right, well then a week from today, we better be doing a Schwarber episode at this rate. Stay tuned.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view for my seat before buying. So please download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today.
Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs on your preferred audio platform or YouTube. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. Yeah, don't get me wrong. If Jeff Passan breaks the news, first day of winter meetings that the Giants spent 300 plus on Tucker, I'm not going to be going outside and doing laps in protest. But if the number starts with the 2 and it's not the Cubs, that is where it intrigues me on the opposite end of the spectrum, being like, well, wait, all these dudes had great years with clearly a star caliber player, and you're saying, yeah, he didn't have a star year, but I just feel like there is evidence, at times overwhelming, that he did make everybody better, that he did answer the question we always wondered about. And so I mean, that's I understand it's a spirited discussion. I'm glad it is, but
I think where you and I are misaligned is
and I guess I didn't realize you wanted Schwarber.
Well, no, but you're paying for the idea of what Kyle Tucker could be. And I am not as
entering the season though, he was one of the top 7 hitters in baseball the last 5 years.
I know, but he came off a year where he played 79 games.
Right.
And then this year, after about that amount of games, plus add another 15, he just, it just wasn't good. Like, man, I forgive me if I'm still bitter. Like, if we had the Kyle Tucker in the first half, we probably get a chance to play the Dodgers in the CS.
Yeah.
And I just
and I guess to add to your point, what about the at-bat against Ashby?
Yeah, I'm not going to make it come, to what I think having it come down to one at-bat's unfair.
Okay.
That's unfair. But it's just if the Cubs get him back at a price that doesn't hurt them long term, I'm all for it. I just have trepidation about the contract. It feels like it feels like a Bryant-y, Haywardy type of path right now. To me. And what did Bryant? I think Bryant was 7 for 180, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
That's a bad deal.
He's barely played.
Right.
Much less perform well.
And I don't think Tucker will be like that at all. Like, again, if Passan breaks the news in a couple of weeks, the Cubs just went out and went all in for Tucker, I'm not going to be angry about it because I think it gives the Cubs a real chance. I think what I'm just saying, I just have doubts about this guy as a superstar level player. I think he's more of a high end. I think he's more of an all-star level guy. I'm not sure he's a superstar level player at 22 and 73 in the power numbers and 840 with the OPS. And again, I have to emphasize, I would say an underwhelming year defensively.
Well, it was. It was. And maybe we shouldn't put off on getting into Tucker alternative options that would really invigorate the team then. Because Schwarber doesn't bring anything defensively. Alonso doesn't really bring anything defensively. Suarez doesn't either. Those would all be 3 frontline slug options, though, that you would really get excited about. I wouldn't sneeze at any of those additions.
I'd sneeze a little bit at Suarez. I'd sneeze. I'd have a little bit of an itch at sneeze.
Well, those are the only 3 names that are really like big names in free agency.
And Alonso's a tough ad because what do you do with Ballesteros? He'd have to be ready to catch.
I know, and that's where I know we're going in circles a little bit, but I think there's a chance that they do that they roll the dice with the DH right field rotation of Casey, Ballesteros, Seiya.
By the way, I just totally contradicted my own point because if you go after Alonso, it's the same question if you go get Schwarber.
Right.
What do you do with Ballesteros? Maybe there's a blockbuster out there. You know what I mean? With Ballesteros in it or Casey or one of these guys. And they have a lot of options, but one thing we know about the Cubs, they want to be in the high 80s, low 90s and solid every year. And
they shouldn't want to be in the high 80s.
And they're going to go for it.
Should be 90 plus.
Look, I think this episode got off the rails. I don't know
if I agree.
I am not against the Cubs bringing back Kyle Tucker. I just have a lot more doubts than I did. I was just very unimpressed. I know you said it was 39 games. To me, it felt like
it was
the entire month of July, August, September, and into October. I wasn't very impressed.
Right, that amounted to about 39 games.
Yeah, it's a long time.
To be thorough, just wanted to point out the Astros went 87 and 75. They missed the playoffs, first time in 10 years.
Great point.
Paredes played well, but played in only 102 games. I didn't know that until earlier today. Wisniewski pitched in only 6 games before getting surgery. And Cam Smith hit 236.
Yeah, it got quiet.
In the same amount of games Tucker played, 136, coincidentally, and was relegated to a platoon role the final month of the season. Granted, he's only like 21 years old.
No, I would make that trade.
Just want to be thorough there at the end.
I'd make that trade 10 times out of 10. I have no regrets about the trade. I just, I have questions going forward about the level of star. To me, if you're going to get 8 for 280, you absolutely have to be one of the 10, 15 best guys in the sport, and I have doubts about that going forward.
Fair enough.
But I'm not against it. It's not my money.
Would you like to start looking at position player targets, or what would you like to do moving forward? I'm getting the sense that you would like to explore that.
I'd like to explore the fact that I'm upset that the Dodgers won last night. Just want to get that out there. I thought Toronto, I know they didn't hit
What
late.
a series, though.
That was one of the best postseason series I've seen besides for the 2016 World Series between the Cubs and Cleveland. But I thought it was amazing. As far as your question goes about exploring, yeah, I absolutely do. I do want to explore some other options.
Okay.
But I really think there's a chance that the Cubs, if they don't get him, like you said, they load up on pitching and
I think so.
they play to the wind, they play to the weather.
Yeah.
Because let's say you do give Schwarber a lot of money. What if you can't hit home runs again to right center?
I know. I think.
Do you think Kyle Tucker wants to come back here, by the way?
Not necessarily, no. By all accounts, he enjoyed his experience, but maybe he doesn't, maybe he didn't enjoy the conditions. Who would?
Feels like you look back if you're him and say, yeah, that 1 year I spent at Wrigley was a fun thing to put on my bucket list type of thing. Glad I did it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to hit in a place where you have to hit it 110 off the bat at 27 degrees to get in the basket, right center field.
If you're going to go all in on pitching, though, you better do it. Rotation and bullpen.
Steele made a good point on the show. I don't think I did a good enough job this offseason praising what Michael Busch did. I mean, with those conditions. I mean, he really was a 40-plus home run guy.
Yeah, it was incredibly impressive what he did.
I got to start giving him more credit.
Well, then do it.
It was Tucker at 22, and how many did he hit? How many did Tucker hit since July 4th? 5?
Yeah, so that last 39 games, he only had 10 extra base hits. 4 were home.
Yeah, but
I don't mean to laugh.
No, but you did a great job with your.
You had a lot of singles.
No, but let me tell you what
I'm sorry.
Let me tell you what I took away from this episode that you did a great.
Oh, you have a pen.
That you did a great job of. Okay.
The pen's really close to the camera lens.
It's a bad take.
39 games makes it feel so much less than what it is because it encompassed such a long time.
Yeah, I think that was because there was gaps with the injury, right?
Yeah, and
injuries plural.
Well, and slash kind of like benching.
Yes, yeah, for sure, especially the Milwaukee series.
So you made
all right. Well, this is a big week. So by 4 Central Thursday, the Cubs will have made a decision on Shota's club option and whether or not to extend the qualifying offer on him. So we got a lot going on here. I think procedurally, Tucker will get the qualifying offer. And offseason probably won't begin in earnest for another couple weeks. But, yeah, really hoping there's a month stretch there, figure mid-November, mid-December, where there's a lot of activity. And hopefully for the sports case and the Cubs' sake and the show, there will be. So, all right, any final words?
No, it was great dialogue.
It was. No, it was fun. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Go Cubs.